Get back to work! Pull harder! The Pharaoh is waiting!
The year was 2589 BCE. Beneath the scorching sun and endless sands of the Giza Plateau, a silent giant rises, its limestone blocks gleaming like frozen sunlight. The Great Pyramid stands as a testament to human ambition, yet its origins remain shrouded in mystery. Who were the hands that hauled tons of stone across the desert? What devotion, fear, and hope drove them to build a monument meant to defy time itself? Shadows stretch across terraces, hiding corridors and chambers whose secrets have survived millennia, whispering stories of pharaohs, priests, and labourers whose lives are etched into every stone. Its perfect angles align with the stars, its chambers designed to carry a soul beyond death. The desert wind carries the echoes of a civilization that dared to reach for eternity. Standing beneath its colossal shadow, one cannot escape the haunting truth. The pyramid is more than stone. It is a pulse of history, a silent heartbeat of ambition, sacrifice, and dreams that refuse to die. The sun burned high over the endless sands of Giza, as countless hands dug into the earth and lifted heavy stones. People toiled under the unrelenting heat, forced by the ruler's command to build a monument that would outlast time itself. Their bodies ached, sweat pouring into the cracks of the desert floor, yet their work was not born of choice. Slaves, farmers during the off-season, and craftsmen, all pressed into service, struggled to move colossal blocks, each weighing tons, into precise places. The air was thick with dust and effort, the echo of hammers and chisels marking the rhythm of a human endeavour that seemed larger than life itself. The Great Pyramid of Giza was not just stone, it was the embodiment of Pharaoh Khufu's vision, a stairway to eternity, a promise to the gods that no man could ever erase. Generations of labourers would pass, leaving nothing but footprints in the sand as the pyramid rose layer by layer toward the sky. Each limestone block was a silent testament to human perseverance and suffering, each granite slab a whisper of devotion and fear. As the workers hauled, dragged, and lifted, a strange beauty emerged from chaos. Shadows stretched long across the desert, caressing the rough-hewn blocks with a golden glow. Even in the pain and coercion there was wonder, a sense that something miraculous was taking shape, something that would speak to the future across millennia. And as the final stones of the first tiers began to settle, the desert seemed to hold its breath, acknowledging the birth of a wonder that would outlive kings, conquer time, and touch the hearts of every soul who gazed upon it. As the pyramid grew taller, it became a city of stone in the desert, a place where human ambition collided with divine obsession. The workers, driven by fear of the Pharaoh and the gods, learned to move mountains with their bare hands. Simple tools, wooden sledges, copper chisels, and ropes became instruments of miracles. They rolled massive limestone blocks across slippery mud paths, carefully balancing the impossible, and carving channels in the sand to guide the weight of eternity. Every stone placed was both a triumph and a torment, a quiet battle between flesh and destiny. The Pharaoh watched from a distance, his eyes cold, calculating, knowing that this monument was more than a tomb. It was a declaration. The pyramid would proclaim his power, his eternity, to every person who would ever stand before it. Priests whispered of the stars, of the gods who would welcome his soul, while architects traced lines in the dust, imagining the perfect alignment, the exact angle that would capture the sun's light in sacred harmony. Geometry became a tool of devotion, and labour a ritual of survival. At night, the desert air was filled with stories whispered among the exhausted hands. Some spoke of gods walking among men, others told tales of spirits trapped in the stones themselves, witnesses to the suffering that built these monuments. Fires flickered in the camps, casting shadows that danced against the skeleton of the pyramid, making it seem alive, breathing, waiting, immortal. And in the silence between labour and dusk, The workers paused, gazing at the structure that rose like a mountain of dreams and nightmares. They felt small, fleeting, yet bound forever to the pulse of something eternal, something the desert would remember long after their voices had faded into dust. The pyramid stones stretched ever higher, each layer a triumph over gravity, over doubt, over the fragile bodies of those who carried them. Carpenters and masons, their hands scarred and calloused, shaped blocks with precision that seemed impossible for human skill alone. The labourers moved like a single organism, a wave of flesh and muscle, hauling, dragging, lifting, while the sun painted their sweat-soaked bodies gold. The desert seemed endless, yet here, in this fevered rhythm, men were creating something timeless, a bridge between the mortal and the divine. Inside the pyramid, architects traced corridors and chambers with lines drawn in the sand, imagining spaces that would cradle a pharaoh's soul. Every stone had a purpose, every angle a meaning. They whispered of secret passages, of hidden rooms where treasures would sleep for eternity, where the gods might one day descend. Their voices trembled with awe and fear, knowing that even a single misplaced stone could unravel the pharaoh's promise of immortality. Above, the pyramid pierced the sky, an impossible silhouette against the blazing sun. Camels circled below, dwarfed by the colossal structure, and falcons wheeled overhead, their cries echoing like warnings. The desert wind carried grains of sand that clung to the workers' sweat, blurring the line between earth and stone, human and monument. And when night fell, the pyramid glowed in silver moonlight, casting shadows across the camp. The workers lay beneath its growing bulk, exhausted, silent, and yet they dreamed. They dreamed of lives beyond labour, beyond the Pharaoh's commands. But deep inside, each knew they had touched something eternal, something that would outlive kings, conquer time, and forever whisper the story of men who dared to build heaven on earth. The desert was both adversary and accomplice, its relentless heat and shifting sands testing every effort, every life committed to the pyramid. Workers fell to exhaustion, their bodies bending beneath the weight of stones and the Pharaoh's unyielding will. Yet the desert also framed their work in majesty. The rising pyramid seemed to grow from the sands themselves, as if the earth conspired with human hands to reach for the heavens. Every grain of sand that clung to skin and stone became part of a story older than any man, older than the Pharaoh's rule. Khufu's vision was not merely to build a tomb, it was to sculpt immortality itself. He demanded perfection, an eternal resonance that would speak to the gods and to every generation after him. Priests walked the site, muttering prayers and invoking the stars, guiding the architects to align the structure with cosmic precision. Each block, each passage, each hidden chamber was a deliberate act of devotion. Even the simplest stones held weighty significance. They were the voice of a civilization striving for eternity. The labourers knew fear intimately. Punishments were swift and brutal, yet fear alone could not sustain them. Hope, too, drove their hands, the hope that their work, though forged in pain, would echo in eternity. In the still moments before sunrise, they watched the shadows of the pyramid stretch across the sand, and for a brief, fragile instant, they glimpsed the immensity of what they were creating. And when the winds of the desert swept through the half-built structure, carrying sand like whispers from the gods, the pyramid seemed alive, a sentinel of human ambition and suffering, standing tall in the silence of eternity. As the pyramid neared its towering height, the desert seemed to shrink beneath its shadow. The workers, their hands raw, their bodies broken yet unyielding, had become part of the monument itself. Every stone bore their sweat, every scar etched into history. The labour was endless, the Pharaoh's expectations unrelenting, and yet there was a rhythm, a cadence of creation born from desperation and devotion. Day after day, stone by stone, the impossible became real, and the impossible was slowly reaching for the sky. The sun rose and fell, painting the limestone blocks in gold and crimson, while the pyramid's sharp edges caught the light like a promise carved in stone. Architects measured angles by the stars, priests chanted incantations over the growing corridors, and labourers moved with a weary grace that spoke of both suffering and pride. Somewhere deep within, they felt the pulse of eternity in their own veins. The desert wind carried the scent of dust and sweat, mingled with awe, reminding all who toiled that this was no ordinary construction. It was a testament to human ambition, fear, and faith. And yet, with every stone that settled into place, the pyramid became a silent witness to the lives it had claimed. Families whispered the names of fathers, sons, and brothers lost to the task, their grief swallowed by the monument's immense shadow. Still, no force on earth could halt its rise, nor dim the brilliance of a vision that defied mortality itself. When the final tiers of the first great stage took form, the pyramid loomed like a living soul in the desert, eternal and unyielding. And in that moment, the hearts of all who gazed upon it understood the truth. This was not merely stone and labour, but the heartbeat of human history carved into eternity. The Great Pyramid now dominated the horizon, a silent giant born of human sweat and fear. From a distance, travellers saw only perfection, a gleaming monument reaching toward the sun. But up close, the story was different, a story of pain, perseverance, and obsession. Workers climbed its tiers, hauling stones heavier than any man should bear. Their muscles burned, their hands cracked and bleeding, yet they moved as if possessed, each block a step toward eternity, each lift a battle against mortality itself. Khufu's vision extended beyond the desert, beyond the earth. He imagined his tomb not just as a resting place, but as a bridge between the heavens and the mortal world. Astronomers and priests worked tirelessly alongside architects, ensuring that every passage and chamber aligned with the stars. The pyramid's corners faced the cardinal points with unerring precision, and the sun's rays would strike sacred chambers at precise times of the year. Every angle, every measurement, carried a hidden language, a language of gods, kings, and men who dared to grasp eternity. The labourers whispered in their exhaustion about the mystery of the pyramid. Some said spirits lived in the stones, guiding the hands that placed them. Others feared the wrath of the Pharaoh, certain that a mistake could summon death. Yet in these quiet moments, when the wind swept across the unfinished terraces, they could feel the enormity of what they were building. And as the shadows of the pyramid stretched long across the desert, a strange hush fell over the land. Even the wind seemed to bow to its grandeur. In that silence, the pyramid whispered a truth that no king, no labourer, no traveller could ignore. Something eternal was being forged here, and the world would never be the same again. The labourers moved like a single, unstoppable tide, flowing over ramps and terraces, carrying stones that seemed impossibly heavy. Each block was carefully shaped by skilled masons before being hauled into place. Wooden sledges slid over sand lubricated with water. Ropes groaned under the strain, and the earth itself seemed to tremble beneath their effort. The techniques were simple, yet their execution required brilliance born from centuries of trial and error. Every stone was a message, a promise, a challenge to time itself. Khufu's architects watched over the work with meticulous eyes, measuring angles, checking alignments, and marking every stone with precision. The pyramid was more than a tomb. It was a carefully orchestrated symphony of human ingenuity. Ramps curved like gentle arcs, terraces allowed the movement of heavier stones, and hidden chambers were planned in perfect secrecy. The Pharaoh demanded perfection, and no mistake would be forgiven. Those who faltered or disobeyed faced swift punishment. Fear drove the hands of men, yet all gave their labour purpose, a strange combination of devotion and dread. The desert, relentless and scorching, tested them endlessly. Sandstorms buried paths and obscured ramps, and heat turned the air to fire. Water was precious, and shade was a luxury. Yet even in this harshness, moments of wonder appeared. The stones, pale in daylight, caught the sun and glowed like molten gold. At dawn, the pyramid's shadow stretched over the camps, a giant finger pointing to eternity. The workers paused, their exhaustion momentarily forgotten. As if the desert itself reminded them that they were building something more than stone, they were building a legacy. And in the quiet nights, when the wind whispered through unfinished corridors, even the Pharaoh's harsh decree could not silence a single truth. The pyramid was alive, and it would remember every hand that shaped it, every life it demanded, forever. Inside the growing pyramid, a world of shadow and mystery unfolded. Hidden corridors and chambers were carved with sacred purpose, their walls meant to guide the Pharaoh's soul into eternity. Priests moved through the stones, chanting incantations that carried the weight of centuries, invoking gods whose names trembled on human lips. Every passage was measured against the stars, every chamber aligned with the heavens, as if the pyramid itself were a bridge between earth and sky. The Pharaoh's vision was absolute. He believed that his life could extend beyond death, that his soul could ascend through the pyramid's silent veins to join the divine. For the workers, these beliefs were both awe-inspiring and terrifying. They carried stones not just for a king, but for eternity itself. Each step up the terraces, each pull of a rope, was a step into a story that stretched beyond their lifetimes. The pyramid demanded total devotion, and in its shadow, mortality felt small. Outside, the desert held its breath. Sand swept across the terraces, whispering secrets older than men, shaping dunes like waves frozen in time. The workers paused to watch the stones catch the sunlight, golden and perfect against the blue sky. Even the wind seemed to move reverently around the colossal structure. Some spoke of spirits dwelling in the stones, watching over the labourers, ensuring that the Pharaoh's soul would not be denied its journey. And as night fell, stars reflected in the polished limestone, connecting the earth to the heavens. The pyramid seemed alive, a quiet heartbeat in the desert. In that profound stillness, every labourer understood a truth they could never fully speak. They were part of something eternal, something that would outlast empires, kings, and even the desert itself. Thousands of hands moved in unison across the desert, each worker a single note in the grand symphony of construction. Labourers were organised into teams, each with its own task. Some shaped stones with precision, others hauled them across ramps, while overseers measured and recorded every placement. Discipline was harsh. The Pharaoh's wrath was swift and unforgiving. Yet, even in fear, a strange pride grew among them, a knowledge that they were part of a creation that would echo through eternity. Camps stretched across the desert, filled with the sounds of life and toil. Fires flickered in the evening, casting long shadows on the sand, while men and women whispered tales of gods and spirits that dwelled within the stones. Bread and beer were rationed carefully. Water was precious, yet the workers endured. Some sang softly as they laboured, their voices mixing with the wind and the rhythmic scrape of sledges over sand. Even in pain they found fleeting moments of connection, a fragile humanity bound together by shared purpose. The desert was both ally and adversary. Sunlight scorched the skin, sandstorms threatened to undo hours of work, and heat made every step a battle. Yet in the same desert the limestone reflected brilliance, the moon painted silver on unfinished tiers, and the stars seemed to guide the hands of the faithful. The pyramid absorbed all of it, the labour, the suffering, the devotion, and transformed it into something eternal, a silent witness to humanity's strength and endurance. And in the quiet moments when labour paused and the desert wind swept across terraces, the pyramid spoke without words. It reminded every soul who built it that their lives, their effort, and their sacrifices were forever etched into eternity, and that through their toil humanity had touched immortality itself. As the pyramid climbed ever higher, Khufu's vision became undeniable. From its base to the unfinished apex, it dominated the desert. a structure of impossible scale and precision. Architects measured angles against the stars, ensuring that every corridor, every chamber, and every passage aligned with celestial bodies. The pharaoh believed that his soul would travel along these cosmic paths, joining the heavens and achieving immortality. Every stone placed was more than a physical act. It was a spiritual one, a step in the eternal journey. The labourers moved with practiced rhythm, their exhaustion tempered by awe. Ramps stretched like veins across terraces, carrying massive stones from distant quarries. Sledges slid over sand, wetted to reduce friction. Ropes strained under unimaginable weight, and men pushed and pulled in coordinated precision. Mistakes could be fatal. The desert was unforgiving, and the pharaoh's demands were absolute. Yet in their labour, a strange beauty emerged. The pyramid was not merely stone. It was human ingenuity, discipline, and devotion made visible. A monument carved from the sweat and spirit of thousands. Above, the desert stretched endlessly, sunlight glinting off limestone blocks, turning them into mirrors of gold. Camels wandered slowly across the plateau. Falcons circled high above, and the wind carried grains of sand like whispers through the terraces. The pyramid seemed alive, absorbing the devotion, fear, and awe of every hand that shaped it. And when night fell, stars aligned perfectly with its apex, casting silver shadows across the desert. In that moment, the pyramid stood as more than a tomb. It was a bridge between earth and sky, a testament to ambition, faith, and human endurance, and a reminder that even the smallest act of toil could leave a mark upon eternity itself. As the Great Pyramid neared its final form, it towered over the desert like a monument to eternity itself. The workers, weary beyond measure, moved in silent determination, each stone they placed a triumph over exhaustion, heat, and gravity. Every scarred hand, every aching back, every drop of sweat was a note in a symphony of human effort, composing a story that would echo across millennia. The desert seemed to watch, indifferent yet reverent, as the pyramid grew, its sharp edges catching the sun and reflecting the brilliance of a civilization determined to defy mortality. Khufu's vision had guided every decision, every angle, every chamber. The pyramid was no mere tomb. It was a map of the cosmos, a vessel for the pharaoh's soul, a bridge between earth and the heavens. Priests moved through the passages, chanting sacred incantations, while astronomers measured alignments with celestial precision. The work of thousands became a single coordinated act of devotion, fear, and ambition. The plateau was alive with quiet reverence. Sand shifted beneath exhausted feet. Camels moved slowly across the horizon, and the wind carried whispers of every life that had contributed to this towering wonder. Even the stones seemed to hum with memory, holding the energy of countless hands, hearts, and dreams. And when the sun set, the pyramid cast a shadow that stretched farther than any man could see, reaching across the sands and into eternity. In that moment, the labour, the suffering, and the faith of all who had built it crystallized into something beyond comprehension. The Great Pyramid of Giza stood not merely as stone, but as the immortal heartbeat of humanity, a silent witness to the power, devotion, and dreams of men who dared to touch the divine. The Great Pyramid stood complete, a colossal vision carved from stone and human devotion. Yet its story was far from finished. Travellers who approached its base were humbled by its enormity. Scholars marvelled at its precision, and priests whispered of the mysteries hidden within. Khufu's ambition had been realized in stone, but the pyramid itself now carried a life of its own, a silent witness to the generations who would study it, fear it, and revere it. Inside, corridors and chambers remained shrouded in shadow and secrecy. Some passages were meant to confuse tomb robbers. Others were sacred conduits guiding the pharaoh's spirit toward the heavens. The air was heavy with history, thick with the presence of those who had built it, those who had prayed within it, and those who had imagined its power. Each limestone block seemed to hum with memory, a silent testament to the sweat, toil, and faith of countless hands. Outside, the desert remained vast and relentless. The sun beat down, wind swept across terraces, and sand shifted in endless patterns. Yet the pyramid did not merely endure, it dominated the landscape, a constant reminder of human ambition and ingenuity. Camels moved slowly across the horizon, falcons circled above, and the world felt simultaneously small and infinite beneath its shadow. Even as centuries passed, the pyramid whispered of mysteries that defied understanding. Astronomers, historians, and dreamers sought meaning in its alignment with the stars, in the angles of its chambers, and in the silent rhythm of its stones. And in the quiet moments, standing beneath its immense shadow, one truth was undeniable. The Great Pyramid of Giza was more than a tomb. It was humanity's echo carved in stone, a bridge between the mortal and the eternal. The mysteries of the Great Pyramid have captivated minds for millennia. Its precision defies explanation. Its alignment with the cardinal points and celestial bodies remains extraordinary, and the purpose of some hidden chambers continues to puzzle even the greatest scholars. Architects, astronomers, and explorers have all wondered how ancient hands achieved such perfection without modern tools. Every stone seems deliberate, every passage purposeful, as if the pyramid itself is a message written in the language of eternity. Within its corridors, echoes of the past linger. The labourers' footsteps, long vanished, seem to resonate in the still air. The chants of priests, intended to guide the Pharaoh's soul, still whisper faintly through the limestone. Some blocks contain marks made by the hands of artisans whose names are lost to time. Each mark tells a story of devotion, fear, and human ingenuity, preserved forever in stone. The pyramid is not just a structure, it is a living record of the civilization that dared to reach beyond mortality. Outside, the desert stretches endlessly, yet the pyramid dominates the horizon. Shadows shift with the sun, highlighting terraces and angles with almost supernatural precision. The wind carries whispers of ancient rituals, the journeys of pharaohs, and the lives of countless labourers who gave themselves wholly to creation. Camels tread softly across the sands, falcons wheel overhead, and travellers pause to feel the immensity of human ambition frozen in time. And in the quiet of night, when the stars align with its apex, the pyramid speaks most clearly. It tells of men who dreamed beyond the limits of flesh, of faith that bridged earth and sky, and of a monument that would endure long after kingdoms fell. It is not just stone, it is humanity's heartbeat echoing forever across the desert, unbroken, eternal, and utterly awe-inspiring. The Great Pyramid is more than a tomb. It is a symbol of eternity, a monument to human ambition, and a bridge between the mortal and the divine. Centuries of wind and sand have tested it, yet it remains unbroken, a testament to the vision of Khufu and the countless hands that shaped it. Scholars, pilgrims, and travellers have all felt its presence, humbled by the sheer scale and precision of a structure that seems to defy time itself. Inside, the chambers remain a labyrinth of mystery. The king's burial chamber, the hidden corridors, and the shafts leading skyward all tell of a civilization obsessed with life beyond death. Every corridor is a path, every stone a word, and every shadow a silent witness to devotion, fear, and hope. The workers who laboured here, their names long lost, live on in every block, in every angle, in every perfect alignment. The pyramid itself is a record of human endurance, a voice of history carved in limestone and granite. Outside, the desert remains indifferent, yet the pyramid dominates the horizon like an eternal sentinel. Camels and falcons move beneath its shadow, travellers pause to stare, and the wind sweeps across its terraces, as if carrying the stories of thousands of years. Sunlight glints off polished limestone, turning the structure into a beacon that has drawn eyes for millennia. And when night falls and the stars align with the apex, the pyramid becomes more than stone and sand. It becomes a heartbeat of humanity, a symbol of aspiration, courage, and faith. It whispers across time that humans can reach beyond mortality, that devotion and vision can carve eternity into the earth, and that even long after kings have faded, their dreams, and the hands that built them, can never be forgotten. Through the centuries, the Great Pyramid has inspired wonder, fear, and devotion. Kings, scholars, and travellers have gazed upon its soaring form, each interpreting its meaning in the light of their own time. Some called it a gateway to the gods, others a treasure trove of secrets, still others a puzzle of impossible mathematics. Its very existence challenged imagination, a reminder that humanity could achieve the extraordinary when ambition and labour joined in unyielding purpose. Legends grew around the pyramid, tales of hidden chambers filled with gold, curses that would punish those who disturbed the pharaoh's rest, and mysteries that defied explanation. Even today, explorers and historians debate the techniques used to move the massive stones, the alignment of its corridors, and the cosmic precision of its design. And yet, for all the study and speculation, the pyramid refuses to reveal all its secrets. Its silence is deliberate, echoing across millennia, a reminder that some truths are preserved in stone, waiting for time itself to uncover them. The desert that surrounds it has changed little, yet the pyramid remains a sentinel of eternity. Some might cast shadows that stretch endlessly across the sand, and the wind whispers over terraces worn smooth by centuries of storms. Travellers pause beneath its shadow, feeling a hum of history in their bones, an awareness that they are witnessing something far larger than themselves. And in the quiet of night, when stars align with its apex, the pyramid stands as a testament, not only to pharaohs and priests, but to every hand that shaped it, every life it touched, every drop of sweat and effort. It whispers across time and space. Human ambition, devotion, and courage can reach beyond mortality, and what is built with vision and perseverance may endure forever. The Great Pyramid of Giza stands today not merely as stone and mortar, but as a monument to humanity's unyielding spirit. Thousands of years have passed, yet its form remains perfect, its presence commanding, and its mysteries untouched. Every limestone block tells a story of sweat, pain, and devotion. Every corridor echoes with the silent voices of those who toiled beneath the sun and stars, driven by fear, hope, and the dream of eternity. The pyramid is not only Khufu's vision, it is the heartbeat of countless lives committed to the impossible. Visitors who approach it are humbled by scale and precision. Scholars ponder its alignment with the stars, engineers marvel at its construction, and poets and dreamers feel its power to inspire wonder. The desert winds sweep across terraces carved by ancient hands, carrying whispers of prayers, chants, and stories of lives forever intertwined with this colossal monument. Camels tread softly across the sands, falcons wheel overhead, and the sun glimmers off the polished stones, reminding all who look that this is more than a tomb, it is a bridge to the eternal. Even as empires rose and fell, the pyramid endured, silent and immutable. Its shadow stretches across time itself, a testament to human ambition, vision, and perseverance. It teaches that greatness requires sacrifice, that devotion can transcend fear, and that what humans create with courage and purpose can outlive generations, touching hearts long after its builders have vanished. And when night falls and stars align above its apex, the Great Pyramid whispers across the ages. Humanity can reach beyond itself, carve eternity from the desert, and leave a legacy that no passage of time can erase. It is not merely stone, it is the soul of ambition, immortal, unyielding, and eternal.